And we are live from Damascus, Syria. It's your boy Treka. How's everyone doing? Hope you're all having a good day. I just decided to go on live to talk with you for a little while. Nothing really important. This is the view of Damascus city right now. Live from Damascus city in Syria. How are you all doing? Alan Goldberg is saying hi, Treka. Hi Alan, how are you? Tuka is saying hi. Hi Tuka. How are you? I'm doing great, just chilling. It's been a hot day. Lila's saying hi, beautiful. Hi. Delcy looks beautiful, thank you. Austin Anthony, hello. Kate, hello. Treka, how's everyone doing? Well, it's a good day. It's been very sunny. I don't know how it is where you guys live, but it's crazy. Right now the electricity is turned off because, you know, in Syria you don't have electricity 24 hours like everyone else. You have electricity like 9 hours a day, and the rest you have to spend it in darkness. Yeah. Lauren is saying hi, Treka from South Africa. Hi Lawrence, how are you and how are things in South Africa? Hope things are doing well. Stacy's saying hello. Alan is saying humidity is bad here. Christina's saying hello from New York. What's up, Christina? I heard your governor is resigning today because of some sexual harassment cases. Greg is saying, hey bro, how are you, my friend? Well, I'm doing good, you know. The situation in Syria isn't really doing good. It just keeps getting worse and worse. You know, 10 years of war, that's what it does to a country. But in general, you know, like the situation here in Syria, it just keeps getting bad and bad, you know, with the terrorist groups that we are fighting and the economic sanctions. The situation for the majority of Syrians have become unlivable, you know. Like for the past 2 weeks, there were areas that didn't see light. They didn't have electricity at all, so they were spending like 10 hours with no electricity. Then the government will give them 1 hour of electricity, then it will cut off for another like 4 or 5 hours, and it's like that all day. So we're having an electricity problem. I don't know what exactly is the main reason, you know, but it's like we have economic sanctions. We can't import fuel and gas, and I think that's what you need for electricity. And the American military bases in the north are stealing our oil as usual. You know, Joe Biden is ordering his troops to secure the oil areas, and they keep like smuggling Syria's oil to Iraq and other areas. We have a fuel crisis, like gas prices and fuel prices have become very, very high, you know, the prices. And everything is just, in general, it's not good. Like we have an area called Dira, which is in the southwest of Syria. This was an area that was liberated from all the terrorist groups, and in the past 2 weeks, it seems like a lot of armed groups, you know, regained power of the area, and now they're fighting with the Syrian army and they're fighting with the Russian army. And it's like, you know, this was a city that we thought was completely liberated and no more problems anymore, and now it seems like we're back to the problems in Dara. A lot of fightings, a lot of kidnapping and bombing and so on. So this is another like problem that has been happening in Syria. And yeah, so this is like the update of what has been recently happening. You know, unfortunately, no good news, just bad news. I'm also sorry for the, you know, darkness, but it's also dark in the house because there's no electricity. So maybe in like 2 hours, I'll have electricity. And yeah, that's it. Anthony's saying you just got banned for talking bad about Biden because the Dems are never wrong. Well, I said it before and I'll say it again. Joe Biden is an idiot. He's a war criminal, corrupted politician. The guy doesn't have an idea of what he's doing. I can't believe that he's the president of America. The guy can't even say a complete sentence. Like the first month of him being president, he immediately bombed Syria. Like the guy wasn't a president for only 30 days and he immediately like bombed Syria, then he bombed us again. Thankfully I have batteries, so these are LED lights where to keep a little bit of light in the house, and still it's still dark. I thought entering the house will make the lighting better, but as you can see, but this is not only happening to me, you know, it's not like I'm saying, oh, poor me. This is happening to every single Syrian living in Syria right now. There is no electricity in the majority of the country, and it only comes for like an hour or two and then gets cut for another 4 or 5 hours. And it has been like that for many years, but these couple of weeks it has become very, very bad. You know, before it used to cut for 3 hours then come back for another 3 hours, but now it's like it's cutting for 5 hours and it will come for 1 hour. So like most of the food in the fridge, most of it always gets spoiled, you know, because of the heat and so on. So this is what 10 years of war will do to a country and to a people, and this is what economic sanctions, you know, implemented by America and NATO countries will also do to the country. So it's like I've spoken about these issues for many years, and I feel like it has reached the point where I feel like I am becoming repetitive, you know, just, you know, talking about the same stuff always, the economic sanctions and how it's making the lives of the Syrian people worse every day. And you know, when you talk to American government officials and you tell them why are they implementing economic sanctions on Syria, they will always tell you that we are implementing these sanctions on the government, we want to punish the government. But in reality, these economic sanctions are only hurting the Syrian people, because it's the Syrian people that are sitting in the house without electricity, you know. High-ranking government officials, they're very rich in Syria, so they have generator and they have their own way of getting fuel and gasoline and so on. So it's like their life is not really affected by the sanctions, you know. They have generators in the house, they have money. It's the Syrian people that are really suffering from the economic sanctions, you know. You can't import and export, you can't do business, no foreign country can do business with Syria, and plus with the pandemic going on, it made the whole economic situation way more worse. No embassies are allowed to open in Syria, you can't make money online because of the economic sanctions, and most Western countries have cut complete relationship with Syria. So it's like that's the reality, unfortunately. You know, I would have loved to tell you guys some good news, but this is what has been happening for the past 2 weeks. You know, we're fighting jihadist groups in the north in Idlib, and now there was a city called Daraa which was liberated, and now these armed groups have gained power of the area and they're fighting, and some soldiers in the Syrian army have been killed and they have been kidnapped, and this is what is happening, and it's in a city called Daraa. It's in southwest of Syria. Shawnali Zucato is saying, prisoners, you are prisoners in your own country. Disgusting. Yeah, of course, we are living like prisoners in the country. You know, you have to always remember, like, this is not something that happened in 24 hours. You're talking about 10 years of war, 10 years of war, and almost 7 years of economic sanctions. So it's like, of course, this is what is going to happen, you know, and it's very difficult even for a Syrian to find a way out, you know, because most of the embassies are closed. So in order for a Syrian to travel out of Syria, he needs a visa, and you can only apply for visa in an embassy. But how can you apply for a visa if the embassy of the country that you want to travel to doesn't exist in Syria. So like there is no American embassy, there is no Canadian embassy in Syria, there is no French or German or British or Australian embassy. They're all closed. Perfect, the electricity just came. Hallelujah. Wait 1 second. See? Now we have electricity. Look at the brightness, look at the whiteness, look at the sexiness. See, this is what you guys have been missing. You see, with the darkness you couldn't see all of this sexiness, but now you are very lucky. God loves you, and God was praying for all you people watching, that now you can see the hairiness that has been talking for the past 30 minutes. So see now, see when you have electricity, see how the smile just comes back in and you feel alive again. And this is the simple right that any fucking citizen should have, you know? Like a Syrian person, when he gets electricity, which is his right, this is not considered a privilege. This should be something normal that any citizen should have, you know? Electricity 24 hours, we don't have that shit. So when the electricity comes back, you see us celebrating and happy. We immediately start charging our mobile phones. We start charging the laptops. If we want to heat our food, we immediately put the food in the microwave, because like this is the time, you know, because some people don't have gas in their oven, so like they wait for the electricity to come so that they can heat or warm their food with the microwave. So this is the reality, unfortunately. Fuck my life, I don't know what to say. But I mean, they cannot break my spirit. I'm always going to be a positive person. I'm always going to be smiling. But at the same time, I always like to be honest and truthful with you guys. I'm not going to lie and say, oh, the situation in Syria is improving and it's good, when the reality is that it is shit right now. Very, very, very bad right now. And with Joe Biden becoming president, it only became worse, because that means more jihadists are gonna be protected and funded, and they're gonna keep the military bases in Syria. They're gonna keep on stealing our oil and protecting the jihadists and implementing economic sanctions and striking us every now and then. So it's like I would be lying to you if I told you like I see a more positive, you know, future. I am a little bit pessimistic, but it's just me being realistic, not me being, you know, a negative person. I'm just looking at the facts, looking at the reality, you know. And plus, look, in general, it's like you can't also put all the blame on the West, you know. It's like even the Syrian government, they have things that they do that is very corrupted, you know, like anybody that would tell you that the Syrian government isn't a corrupted government is a liar. They are a very corrupted government. The high-ranking government officials, they steal from the people, and every now and then they come up with the stupidest laws and rules just to steal more money from the Syrian people, you know. It's like they came up, the other day they came up with like a stupid new rule that if you have like a professional camera, like a Nikon or a Canon, and you want to film in public, you need to get a license from the government in order for them to allow you to take pictures with your professional camera, and you have to pay them 25,000 Syrian pounds. It's like, why? Why should I pay you guys 25,000? So it's normal for me to use my mobile phone and take pictures in the street, but if I want to use a professional camera and take high quality pictures, I have to pay you guys 25,000 Syrian pounds. Like, what kind of, you know, dumbness is this? Same with like there's this new rule that will soon like be implemented, maybe next week. It's like if you buy a mobile phone abroad, not from Syria, like if you buy like a new iPhone from outside and you want to make it work in Syria, like you want to put a, you know, this like a MTN card or a Syriatel card to make phone calls and so on, you have to pay them something like 2 million Syrian pounds for them to allow you, you know, to make calls, because you bought the phone outside of Syria. You have to buy the phone inside of Syria. So it's like they come up with these kinds of rules just to take money from the Syrian people, and the majority of the Syrian people are fucking poor. The majority of the Syrian people are fucking poor. Like, there's no middle class anymore. So what kind of stupid rules are this that the Syrian government is implementing? And also, like, a couple of months ago, they also came up with this rule that if you're a Syrian and you want to enter Syria, you have to pay, like, an entrance fees. Like, to enter your own country, I have to pay money to enter my own country, and they'll be like, no, we're not asking you to pay an entrance fees. We're asking you to transfer $100 to enter, but we will give you back the transfer, the money exchange from dollars to Syrian pound. But the reality is 3,200 Syrian pounds makes $1. So normally, if you give them $100 at the border, they have to give you 320,000 Syrian pounds. What do they give you? They'll give you 250,000. So there is like 100,000 Syrian pounds that they're gonna take it to their pocket, because they're gonna tell you, oh, we are using the central bank's transfer rate, when in reality the whole country is using the black market's transfer rate, which is 3,200, not 2,500. You understand? So it's like they're taking money in a sneaky way. No, we're not asking you to pay entrance. We're asking you to exchange money. But instead of you to give you the full amount of the money you're exchanging, they're gonna give you like 50 or 60% of the money you deserve to. So it's just like sad, and I understand that there's a war and like the Syrian government needs money and so on, but it's like there are many other ways you can improve the Syrian economy and not take money from the poor Syrian people. I'll give you the best example. I have many foreign, Europeans and American and Canadian followers and so on, and they always send me messages telling me that, Treka, we want to come and visit Syria to do tourism, and tourism is something that will improve the Syrian economy. For the past something like 1 year till now, the tourism is not allowed in Syria. Why? Why isn't tourism allowed in Syria? Like, when these foreigners comes to Syria, they're gonna be visiting, they're gonna be spending money. This is going to help the Syrian country improve the economy. But no, because there is like a pandemic going on, we don't want to let people from outside enter the country because of Corona. But I mean, just let them do a PCR test. Just let them do a PCR test. If it comes back negative and they don't have coronavirus, see, the electricity just got cut off. You see what I talk about? See, they just brought it for like 10 minutes. What the fuck? See, even Nusa's pissed off. I know. Only 10 minutes. I know, life is not fair, Nusa. I mean, what can I tell you? Jesus Christ, did you guys see that? Literally 10 minutes the electricity came. Now I hope it doesn't cut for another 3 hours. What the hell? Nusa, say something to the followers. Say something. Tell them how life is. Let me use my lighter's light for you guys to see my hairiness. Okay, see, this is good. So as I was saying, why don't they let the tourists do a what they call it, a PCR test, and if they don't have coronavirus, then they can enter the country. Like, this is going to help the economy. But no, they don't want to open up the country. They would rather come up with like silly laws to tax the Syrian people more money. It's like I don't know how to explain it, guys. It's like you can't put the blame on one side, it's on both sides. So it's like America, NATO countries, Saudi Arabia, Qatar and Turkey, they played a huge role in destroying Syria by funding ISIS, by implementing economic sanctions and making us reach to this point. But at the same time, there is also corruption in the Syrian government, and there are ways where like life could be improved or better, but I don't see the Syrian government walking towards that side, It's just crazy, man. Nusa, say something. Nusa? So guys, this is the reality of Syria. I am planning on finding a way out of this country because life is not livable anymore here. It's very hard to build your future. The economy is very bad, very bad. Like, no matter how much I explain, like, until you come and live here, until you really know what I am talking about. Like, everything has become very expensive, you know, and you always have a crisis of something. Like we have a bread crisis, we have a fuel crisis, we have a gas crisis, we have an electricity crisis, we have an employment crisis, we have like a salary crisis, we have like it's more than one thing, you understand? And you have like a security crisis where your life is not safe and you're always in danger. So it's like how can you blame a Syrian person that like ran away and became a refugee? Like I see people, oh, why did you run away? No, you can't really blame them. You can't really blame any Syrian person that ran away. You know, it doesn't have to do with patriotism anymore, because people have families to feed, people have children, people have responsibilities, people have things, you know, like dreams and so on. And like living in a war zone, like how can you expect anyone with potential, you know, or with to really achieve his dreams when he's living in a dead state, in a country that has been going through 10 years of war, economic sanctions, no job, low salaries, high prices, no electricity, no fuel, no embassies, no companies, no, it's like the doors are closed completely. So you see what I mean when I tell you that the American government is lying to you when they tell you we are implementing economic sanctions to punish the Syrian government, because in reality it's the Syrian people that are getting punished. It is us that are paying the price. It's not the governments, it's all the Syrian people. And I don't want people to be like, oh, Treka, I feel bad for. Don't feel bad for me, because I'm a strong person. You don't see me crying and bitching in my videos. Most of my videos are always lighthearted and funny and entertaining, and I do music and political satire and so on. Don't be afraid of me, because I am somebody that is mentally strong. I can take it, you know, but there are many people that can't take it. I know a lot of youngsters that committed suicide because it's like they see that their life is hopeless, you know, there is no future, their father is old and he's sick and they don't have money to pay for the, you know, hospital bills. Some people started living in the streets because they're not able to afford house rent anymore. You understand? So it's not easy. It's not easy, and I don't really blame anyone, and I never did. And to be honest, I am Greg Jones is saying, if you, Treka, can get to the USA, you will become an overnight success. If you can get here, look me up. Well, you see, I think I will be the hairiest comedian in the United States of America. I think I would break a record. Maybe they would put my name in the Guinness Book of the hairiest, scariest comedian in America. It's very possible for me to come to America in the future. I don't know when. I don't have any plans yet, because in order for me to travel to America, I need to first travel to a country that has an American embassy and then apply to travel to America. I can't apply to travel to America in Syria because there is no American embassy in Syria. So like, how can I ask for a visa? It's like I have to travel to another country that has an American embassy. So you see what I mean when I say these politicians, these corrupt politicians, whether we're talking about the American president or the German government or Saudi Arabia or Turkey or Canada or France or England, like all of these politicians, they played a very huge role in destroying Syria and in destroying the lives of millions and millions of people. You know, I understand they had a problem with the Syrian government, but it's like you guys seriously destroyed the lives of millions and millions of Syrian innocent people just to overthrow a president, a politician that you guys didn't like. It's like, what the fuck? I thought you guys believed in democracy. Like, we have elections just like you guys have elections. The majority of the Syrian people elected their president. So mind your own business. Like, you don't see Syrians coming up and saying, oh my god, you know, overthrow your own government. It's only people in the West. My mobile is turning off. I'm getting a call from... Is the live video back on? Please write a comment if the live video is still back on, because I got a phone call and then my live video got disconnected. So if you guys are still here, just write a comment saying that yes, the live video is still on so that I can continue and not talk to myself. Okay, Erica's saying it's on. Erica, in one live you said it's one of the last places where the language Jesus spoke. Yeah, Syria. There's an area in Syria called Ma'lula. It's an ancient Christian town, and it's one of the last areas where the language of Jesus Christ is still spoken. So it's a very historical, ancient Christian town, and my grandmother is from that town. And yes, they still speak Aramaic, which is the language of Jesus Christ. And this is the kind of history that these Western countries and the jihadist groups are trying to destroy. Wait 1 second. هلا قد ايه الحساب؟ 66 اعطيني بس دقيقة معلش. Guys, give me 1 second because I ordered food and the food is now here. So let me just pay the guy. I ordered shawarma. One second. See, this is how I'm going to be looking for my wallet. Oh my God. So you guys in the West, I hope you guys are all, grateful for the life you guys have, because you guys always complain about your life. And look at a Syrian right now trying to stay in the darkness and do whatever. One second. Alright, I'm back. I'm sorry guys, so sorry. But I had to pay the guy because he was waiting. Anyway, so where were we? Vicky saying I love shawarma. I actually ordered shawarma, yeah, that's what I ordered. Yeah, but I'm not gonna eat now. Someone's saying show us your food. I mean, it's just a sandwich. Anyway, Brandy's saying America is downward spiral with Democrat leadership. They are elected with frauds. No way they stay in power over 40 years by being voted in every year. Well, yeah, the Democratic Party is lost right now. Like, their leadership is really a joke. Like, you can't really take Joe Biden seriously. The guy is an idiot. He can't really say a complete sentence. He's a warmonger. And Joe Biden played a very huge role in destroying Syria, because Joe Biden was the vice president of Obama when Obama started the whole war in Syria. Obama was the one that started funding ISIS and Al-Qaeda in Syria, and he was the one that started implementing sanctions on Syria. And Joe Biden was his president when all of that was happening. So Joe Biden played a very huge role in starting the war in Syria and destroying the country. So that's why I was very pissed off when he became president, because I was sure that nothing is going to change or nothing is really going to improve in Syria. Because like Joe Biden and Obama and Hillary Clinton, it's like they're all like the same mafia. They're all the same group. They all have the same policies, the same thoughts. They don't have a heart. They have a lot of blood in their hands. These three, because it's not only Syria, we're talking Iraq, we're talking Libya, we're talking Afghanistan. So it's like these people, they are heartless, and I don't even understand how they are not in jail. I seriously don't understand how like these people aren't thrown in jail. Like Obama killed a lot of people, and Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden. It's like, how are these people in power, and how are these people? And Obama, like a couple of days ago, it was his birthday, and he had like a birthday party like filled with 700 people, and no social distancing, and no one was wearing a mask. So it's like rules for thee, but not rules for me. So it's crazy. I think I'm getting a phone call. So yeah, that's what has been happening, and it's really crazy and annoying that a lot of innocent people have to suffer like from all of this shit, and that is life, I don't think it's the end. I think I have to take this phone call because this is like 4 times. So yeah, this is what has been happening. Do you guys have any question? I'm sorry for this live video that is all over the place and it's not like professionally made and the lighting is bad and I keep going and coming and the live video keeps disconnecting. I'm sorry, but you know, I'm just letting you guys see exactly like what happens, you know, day to day. So when I started this live video, there was no electricity. And I spoke to you guys for something like 30 minutes or so. And then the electricity came for like only 10 minutes. And now it's been for like 20 minutes now off. So this is not only happening in my house. I just want to make it clear. Like, this is not only happening to me. This is happening everywhere in the whole country. And it has been like that for many years. So, I mean, what can you do? It's like I have spoken about this stuff for like more than 7 years. Like, I've talked about the economic sanctions. I've talked about America's role in Syria and about the war and about ISIS and about Al-Qaeda and about the lies the mainstream media says and all of this stuff. But it feels like nothing really is changing. You know, like when it comes to the foreign policy, it's like no matter who the president is, whether he's Republican or Democrats, like the foreign policy never changes at all. And no matter how like American people like shout and talk about it and criticize their government doesn't listen to them and they do whatever they want because they know how to trick you guys. Like they know the key words that they can use to trigger you guys and let you guys stay silent. Like if they bomb Syria, they would just immediately say Iran is in Syria. We were protecting ourselves from Iran. Then they would know that all the American people would be quiet, because it's Iran, you know. But the reality is they always use Iran as an excuse, you know. Iran is not illegally here in Syria. So you have many different armies in Syria right now. You have America, you have Russia, you have Iran, you have Hezbollah, you have all of different groups, you have Turkey and so on. But the difference is like countries like Turkey and America, they are illegally here in Syria. They were not invited and they actually are protecting ISIS and Al-Qaeda. And they were the people that helped make the situation in Syria way more worse. But countries like Russia and Iran, which I'm not actually a fan of, you know, I'm no fan of no country. I think all politicians are assholes, no matter which country it is. But still, at least Russia and Iran are legally here in Syria. They were officially invited by the Syrian government to come and help out in the fight against ISIS. So their presence here is legal. Nobody can say anything about it. No one should have a right to criticize their presence because, first of all, it's nobody's business. It's the Syrian government's business and they were the ones that invited them. But like countries like America, they are illegal here and the majority of the Syrian people don't want the American troops to be here for obvious reasons because America is protecting ISIS and they're stealing our oil and they're burning our wheat fields and they're smuggling it out of the country. So obviously the Syrian people are going to be against, you know, America being in Syria. So it's like you don't need to be a scientist to like figure that out. So yeah, I'm actually using my my lighter's light for you guys to see my face. Allah Shuka saying, bro, we know the truth. We all know the truth. The media is bullshit. Well, yeah, of course the media is bullshit. And don't think that, oh my god, CNN is bad, but Fox News is good. They're all bad. They're all biased. You know, CNN works for the Democratic Party. Fox News works for the Republican Party. You would never see Fox News talking shit about the Republican. They always attack only the Democrats. And if you watch CNN, it's the same way around. Like CNN doesn't talk shit about Democrats, but they talk a lot of shit about Republican. It's very biased. Like, how can you really expect to be told the truth when these news organizations are biased and liars? And you know, the media in America is very, very dishonest because it's not only CNN, it's Fox News, it's MSNBC, it's all of them. It's all of them, ABC. Brittany Howell is saying, are the troops are the troops who are invited actually helping? Yeah, like the Russian army is actually helping the Syrian army in fighting against ISIS. Like they're hitting ISIS targets, they're communicating with the Syrian army. They tell them, oh wait, we just saw like an ISIS group in this area. They send them information, pictures, maps, like they coordinate with each other. But the American troops are not helping Syria. The American troops are not fighting ISIS. Never will you hear that, oh my god, America struck an ISIS area. Like all the areas that the American troops are in Syria are all areas that have oil. Is that a coincidence? Why isn't the American troops in Dara, for an example? Why are they always like in the areas where there is oil and fuel and all of this stuff? Because that's what they are here for. They'll pretend, oh, we are here, we want to protect the Kurds, we want to give the Kurds a land of their own, but they don't even care about the Kurds. They just want to take their own oil, keep their power in the Middle East, and make life way more worse than it is. Because look, America doesn't need Syria's oil. So why are they stealing it? Because they don't want the Syrian government and the Syrian economy to improve. They want us to keep on like dying slowly. If we get our hands on our own oil fields, then we wouldn't be having a fuel crisis. We wouldn't be having to find ways to like smuggle oil from other countries to our country, like, because we have our own oil and our own gas. But that's what they are smart, and they don't want us to have control of our own oil fields. They would rather take it, smuggle it to Iraq or to Turkey, sell it in the black markets, or give it to their own military in Iraq, you know. And this is the right of the Syrian people. Like the American troops, the American military shouldn't be taking things that doesn't belong to them. Yeah, it's crazy. Do you guys have any questions? Because I might soon end this live video to, eat. And plus, like, the lighting really sucks. Maybe, like, if the electricity comes back on, I might do another live video, maybe on my YouTube or Instagram channel. But, yeah. And speaking of YouTube and Instagram, it's very important for you guys to follow me on my other social media pages. So I am online on Instagram, so follow me on Instagram. It's still under the same name, Treka Z. And on YouTube, Treka Z. Twitter, Treka Z. So like follow me on my other social media platform in case Facebook decides, for an example, to delete my Facebook page. Like you guys would still be, keeping in touch with me and being updated with my work in my other like channels, whether it's Instagram or YouTube or Pornhub. Jeff Meadows saying, what do you think is coming out in the near future? What are your thoughts? Well, I honestly see that the situation is only going to get worse, but slowly. Meaning, as long as there is economic sanctions on Syria, there is no way in hell that the economy is going to improve. How do you expect the Syrian economy to improve if you can't import or export? If foreign countries can't do business with Syria, if private companies can't open in Syria, if you can't make money online, you can't have a PayPal, you can't have a MasterCard. It's like, how do you expect the economy to be boosted if embassies are forced to be closed and all countries are not allowed to have a relationship, whether it's business or political, with Syria? Like, explain to me how the hell is the situation going to improve in the near future if these economic sanctions aren't lifted? And the thing is, America is not losing anything from her pocket. Meaning, America can implement economic sanctions on Syria for 10 more years and they won't give a fuck about it, because it's not like they had before the war in Syria. They had like 2,000 American businesses making a lot of profit in Syria, and now because of the war, these businesses were forced to stop. Like, America didn't do business with Syria even before the war, so it's like they can implement these economic sanctions for 10 more years and they wouldn't lose money from their pocket. They don't care. Just like they did with Cuba. Like, how many years did they implement economic sanctions on Cuba? Like, for more than 30, 40 years. And did they lift the sanctions? No, they don't give a fuck. And that is what I see. As long as the economic sanctions are not lifted, I can't really see a way how the economy will improve. Second of all, you have these jihadist groups. These jihadist groups, now you have them in Idlib, in a city called Idlib, and you have them in a city called Dara. we need to liberate these areas from these jihadists so that we can get back security, you know. But even let's say we liberate the whole country, let's say Syria is completely now liberated from all terrorist groups, no more ISIS, no more Al Qaeda, no more any terrorist groups, okay? What about the economy? How can you seriously convince the millions of refugees living outside of Syria to come back now to their country? You know? Even if there is no more terrorism, how can you convince a Syrian refugee living in Germany, for an example, or in Australia, or in France, or whatever, Canada, you know? How can you convince that Syrian to come back to a country that is completely destroyed, with a completely destroyed economy? Like, how are you going to convince him? Come back and rebuild your country. He's going to tell you, fuck you and fuck my country. That's what he's going to tell you, you know? Because he also has a life. He also has a life. He's probably married. He has children. It's like, if you, obviously speaking, like if you're gonna raise your children in Canada or in Syria, of course you're gonna, you know, raise them in Canada because Canada is like a first world country. It's safe. There is no terrorism. There is no economic sanctions. There is no problems, you know. So it's like, you know, no problems compared to Syria. That's what I mean. I'm sure now some Canadian will be like, yes, but Justin Trudeau did this. I know you guys have problem, but if you want to compare Canadian people's problem to Syrian people's problem, it's going to be really ridiculous, you know? Like, we don't have electricity, we don't have water, we don't have bread, we don't have fuel. Like, you understand what I mean? So, I'm just keeping it real with you guys, because I've always maintained honesty with you guys, and I'm not going to change that for anyone. So I'm just telling you like the reality. So even if we reach the point where we liberate the whole country from all the jihadists, it's also going to be very difficult to convince the Syrian refugees living outside to come back to the country, because there is no work. So what is he going to do here? There is no work, there is no companies, there is no economy, there is no jobs. The jobs have very, very low salaries. So like the average job in Syria right now is like $60 a month. Like seriously, $60 a month. What can you do with $60 a month? Like you can't even pay rent. If you want to live in Damascus, there is no house that you can rent for $60 a month. Minimum, it's something like $150 a month. So that's why you have Syrian people that they are forced to work 2 or 3 jobs in a month in order to make ends meet. Not in order to build their future or save up money or something. I'm telling you, they have to work 2 or 3 jobs just to make ends meet, just for them to not die of hunger till the end of the month. So we're talking about 10 years of war. So I don't want anybody to be surprised, like, oh my God, really? Yes, that's life. That's what happens when you live in a war zone for 10 years. And that's what happens when we live in a world where politicians are heartless and evil people. Like, you can't really convince me like all of these people that destroyed Syria, like these people are human beings. They are not human beings, because no human would ever do this to innocent people, you know? It's crazy. Doug Williams is saying there is no comparison. Canada has our own issues, but nothing remotely close to what's going on over there. Exactly, yes. I know you guys have a prime minister called Justin Trudeau, and he's an idiot, and he's like an infected people and a disgrace to the country. But, you know, like Canadian people, at least they're living a good life with high standards, first world country. A Canadian can travel to more than 100 countries without having to get a visa. You can just like buy your ticket and travel. For a Syrian, in order for you to travel out of the country, like you have to apply for a visa and wait a couple of months for you to get the approval, and most of the time they wouldn't approve, and it's like a very, very difficult it's a very, very difficult process and a long process. I am honestly like planning and working on finding my way out of Syria, but nothing is official yet. And as soon as I get like the opportunity to leave, I'll definitely tell you guys about it. And because look, I've waited for 10 years, and every year I'll be like, hopefully this year would be the end of the war. Like this year the war will end, the economy, sanctions will be lifted, things will improve, things will get slowly back to normal. But it seems like every year it just gets worse and worse and worse. And it's like I have to make a decision. It's like, I have a family, I have responsibility, I have a future to build, I have commitments, I have responsibilities, I have a lot of things that I need to do. And right now, I am 28 years old, so I'm not a small boy anymore. I'm a man, you understand? And there are many things that I need to do, and there are many things that I am capable of doing. But living in Syria, like, all of these doors are closed in my face just because I am living in Syria. It's not because I'm a loser, or it's not because I am not educated, because I am educated and I am talented and I have a skill and I am a hard worker and I am consistent and I am I have a lot of like good skills that living abroad I would live a very comfortable life. You know, like if let's say I'm in America or Canada today, like I can do stand-up comedy, I can do TV, I can do music, I can do entertainment, I can make money online, I can sell merch. There are many possibilities. I can collaborate, I can find sponsors. There are many things that I could personally do that I wouldn't need anybody's help. You know, I can do it all by myself and I can become successful and build a good future for me and my family, and maybe in the future also get married and have kids. It's like in this time, it's like I'll be very stupid to think of getting married. It's like, because right now I'm in a bad situation. Why would I get married to someone and, you know, put her in a bad situation? So it's like I'm not ready for all of this stuff. So maybe in the future, when I find a way out of this country, it's very hot, all of this stuff I would be able to do this stuff. But as long as I'm in Syria, unfortunately, it's going to be very difficult. So yeah, Betty Nelson saying love you and Anomaly together. Well, yeah, like maybe tomorrow in the future, if I go to America, like I can collaborate with Anomaly. Maybe we can do like a podcast together, or like videos or stuff like that. He's a very educated person, and I like his videos and all of this stuff. So maybe in the future we will meet. You know, I am optimistic that my future is going to be good, but I'm not optimistic that Syria's future is going to be good anytime soon, unfortunately, you know. But this is the reality, this is what is going on, and I always like to tell you guys the truth. I'm not going to lie and tell you, oh look, things in Syria are great. No, look at, this is the situation, unfortunately. And yeah, anyway guys, I am hungry, I am dying of hunger, I am sweating, and I'll definitely do another live video when there is electricity. I'll answer your questions. Please make sure to follow me on Instagram and on YouTube as soon as this live video now ends, to stay updated with my work. And send me a message on my inbox if you guys have any questions, any topics you would like me to cover in my next videos. I love you guys. Thank you so much for your support, and trust me, if I didn't have all of your support, maybe I wouldn't be as strong as I am today. You know, you guys give me power, you guys give me hope for my future, and I'll keep you guys updated with my sexiness and hairiness. So wish you all the best, have a good day, and Joe Biden is a cunt. Peace.